Hi everyone, we're at the Winter Social Festival 2017 in Kent and we're chatting with Steve Lawler ahead of his set a little bit later on. So Steve, you played the festival last year. For anyone who's not been before, how would you describe it? What's it like?
It's great. I mean, you know, for a festival in the UK, what's great about it is it's indoors and it's well organised. So you can actually come here and let loose and have fun and not worry about certain things that, you know, getting wet or getting damp or getting cold. You know, you haven't got to worry about those sort of things. So, yeah, I think it's great and it's in a nice part of the world.
Yeah, and for somewhere like Kent that doesn't have like a well-established clubbing scene, how important do you think it is for an event like this to take place? Well, I mean, an event of this size, you expect people to come from sort of at least the south of England, which I think they do. So, I mean, what it does for Kent, I've no idea. I know that after the festival last year, there was a whole array of after parties, and I turned up at one with Dan Eats Everything, and Joris and Nick, and just played unannounced. You know, I think those kind of things are good for the city. Those sort of parties that happen after, because you get people that aren't from around here going to these clubs in the town. Yeah, I read an article yesterday about how UK clubbing's shifting, and now people will say pick one big event or one festival and they'll travel for it, they'll get a hotel, and that's having like a knock-on effect with smaller promoters in smaller towns that would be bringing the dance music to them. What are your thoughts on that? I wouldn't know, to be honest. I mean, I do a lot of club shows and they're packed, so I don't think it's affecting those. I mean, I imagine that, for example, in the summer, I spend a lot of my time, my club shows are in Ibiza, and then throughout Europe, almost every Saturday is a festival show. So, you know, I would imagine that probably does happen I think it would be a hard time for a promoter in the summer to do a regular club event, because people have only got so much money. Yeah. And festivals are an expensive ticket. It's not just a ticket, it's the whole thing, you know, the whole thing that you need to pay for. So, yeah, I can imagine that would be the case in the summer, but then just avoid playing clubs in the summer. Yeah, you mentioned Ibiza there, and the last time we spoke, the Ibiza season had just started, and we were talking about Warriors and Sankey's Ibiza. So what's the plan for the season this time around? I think it's too early to say. I'm literally about to release this information next week. Okay. Some big news. Some big news to drop next week. But so yeah, I just can't wait to say it right now. Sorry. Okay. And in regards to Sankey's, were you sad to hear about the Manchester club closing? What are your thoughts on that? I'm never one to sort of dwell when clubs close. I mean, I had the same thing when Space closed, and everybody was like shedding tears, like, oh my God, it's gone. I always see the end of something, a celebration. Yeah. The same as the end of a life, or the end, and as long as it's had its run. And I think in Sankey's case, it had its run. It did some amazing nights. It did something really good for Manchester. And then it kind of went on this roller coaster ride of being a really great club, then being a really awful club. And then, you know, and I think when a club reaches that sort of age, when it does go, it's like you've got to celebrate what it was there for, as opposed to let's just string it out and keep it going. The sad thing about it is that it's being replaced with apartments. That's the sad thing. But you know, when one goes, another one appears. So I had some great nights there, and I met some great people, including my wife. So lovely. I've certainly got some history there. Yeah. On a completely different note, what's going on with the label at the moment? Some really great things. For March, we've got a Groove Armada release with a Jamie Jones remix coming up. Over on Viva Limited, we're just dropping the OC and Verdi release, Solstice, which is ridiculously massive. And those guys are really hard workers, so I'm glad that we could it doesn't really fall in the sort of remit of what we usually do sound-wise on Viva Limited, which is our sister label. But the record is just so special. It's such a great record that, you know, being someone that loves music, if you get the chance to sign a record like that, you sign it. So I'm really happy about that. There's loads coming up. I mean, there's some really incredible stuff coming up. We've got the remix pack of
the 10th anniversary EP, which has got names like Richie Ahmed, Patrick Topping, Detlef. Again, just a whole sort of, who's who of making the best music, in my opinion.
Yep. Any other upcoming projects you'd like to fill us in on, or is that the main one?
Well, yeah, the main one is the big news, which I'll be announcing really soon. I've got a single myself coming up on Rob Soul, Phil Weeks' label, which for me is one of the coolest labels on the planet. And I played a record, and Phil was in the club at the time. He wasn't working, he just came down to sort of hang out and get stoned as he does. And he's like, what is this track? I was like, this is one of my new ones I finished last week in the studio. He's like, I want it for the label. So that was great for me. It happened really organically. I didn't have to pester anybody to get it signed. It just, and that's, for me, a really special label. I've then got another single following that coming up on Turbo, which is Tiga's label.
Nice.
And then following that, I've got a collaboration with myself and Daria Sarosian, which is a huge record. We'll probably release that in the summer. And I've got a collab EP coming up with myself, Quatero, myself and Arthur Baker and Bernsky. That'll come out on Viva Music in July. So there's quite a lot to happen.
Yeah, all sounds good.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah, busy man.
Yeah.
Right, thanks for speaking to us, and
You're
enjoy
welcome.
your set.
Thank you.